So we're doing a zucchini episode now that Kaylin's away in Canada, so she can't get mad at me because Kaylin is afraid of zucchini. Hey everyone, welcome back to Chef Tyler's Croatian Kitchen. Today we're going to be making polpete o Tikvice, or zucchini patties. This recipe comes from my teta Sandra, that's Aunt Sandra, and she made this once 2 years ago when I was living with her son, my cousin, in a different apartment, and they were really, really good. And so the other day my cousin was like, hey, do you want to do this on your channel? I was like, of course I do. So she sent over the recipe to him, he sent it on to me, and now we'll be making it here. Zucchinis grow a lot, like really fast. There's always zucchinis. Like one other time we're making a zucchini episode and Kaylin was saying people just throw zucchinis everywhere. So they're trying to get rid of them. Maybe that's why she's scared of them. And so there's always good ways to use zucchini. And this is a new way if you don't feel like making something fried, like the fried zucchini. Because this is a Dalmatian recipe, we are using the word polpete, which if you recall from the fascidanza episode, on the coast, they use polpete for these kind of patties, and inland they use fascidanza. Although I've never actually seen fascidanza od kojeg bilo osim mesa, so I've never seen fascidanza made with anything other than meat, so maybe you wouldn't be saying fascidanza o Tikvice, but who knows? Maybe there's someone out there who knows the terminology of Croatian better than I do, because I can speak the language, it's just not great. Anyway, let us get into the ingredients. We have, of course, zucchini. I have two because this one on the bottom here is quite big, but if your zucchini are about this size, use 3. We have cheese. I'm going with grana padano. Teta Sandra said you could also use gouda or edam or honestly any other kind of salty hard cheese of your choice. We have pancetta as well. She said you could use salami if you'd like, but then said that pancetta is zakon, or pancetta is law, so maybe you don't use salami and just use the pancetta. We have 1 egg, and that's going to help bind everything together. We also have flour and breadcrumbs. They're going to serve similar purposes. Breadcrumbs really more for texture, but both of them are going to help absorb water. So zucchini have a lot of water, and we're going to be grating them, so that's going to release a lot of water. So the addition of the flour is going to help soak up some of that water. And that's also going to help us make more of a cohesive patty along with the egg. And lastly, we just have seasonings. So Teta Sandra said salt, pepper, paprika, the holy trinity of Croatian spices, and she didn't specify putting in onion or garlic, so I'm adding in onion and garlic powder. And you could use fresh onion, fresh garlic as well, but I'm just going to go with the powder. It's going to add the flavor without adding in any more mass, so that's why I'm doing it. And all over here we have our olive oil. Olive oil is twofold. We're going to use it on our hands so that the patties don't stick, and 2, when it's on your hand and we're forming the patties, it's going to move the oil onto them, and that's how we'll get oil on the patties. They won't stick and they'll get a nice golden brown color. These are going to be made in the oven, so they'll be a bit healthier than if we just deep fried them. Also, that means you could use an air fryer. I would assume the same settings, but if someone wants to play around with how these work best in an air fryer, please let me know down in the comments. All right, let's get all this cleared up, and we'll start with forming the patties. So I went ahead and cut up about 50 grams, maybe 75 grams of pancetta, and I shredded about 50 grams of cheese. I did the cheese first because I didn't want to risk getting the cheese really wet from the zucchini, because I only have one grater. So I also peeled the zucchini, and I cut the ends off. Never actually peeled zucchini before. The reason I did peel it is because the skin looked a little not great, and I was trying to clean it, it didn't come off. And the inside looks fine, but I've actually never really peeled zucchini before, so it's a really weird looking kind of sight, but it is what it is. So from this point on, things should go relatively quickly, so preheat your oven to 180 centigrade or that much in Fahrenheit. So first what we'll do is we will grate the zucchini. So I have the zucchini, and we'll just grate like so. And this is where we need Kaylin to come in, because I have 2 pans only. This one's a bit thick, so I'm just having to like move it around, so there's always something be able to grate. You know, zucchini is a type of squash, but I never really thought of it as such until now, because it smells like a squash. And, reminds me more of fall, though. It is objectively not fall. So it is quite wet. It doesn't look like a lot of water came out, but oh, it will. You could probably actually even just squeeze the side of this, like the mass against the side, and get some of the water out, and then just pour it down the drain, because there's a lot of water. And especially once we add the salt, it'll get really wet. So at this point now, we'll just add everything into the bowl. Cheese. Okay, let's just save a little bit in case we want more later. Pancetta. We'll do all the pancetta. We need 1 egg. Yeah. There we go. Now we'll season everything except for salt. So we'll just add, what is this, Luke? Onion. Onion? Not onion, we just did onion. Garlic. I'm not really measuring this, I'm just kind of going. Next is pepper. Pepper is, this one takes forever, because it's almost done. You can see it's almost done. And it's just not grating as well as it should. That's fine, I am so white I find black pepper a little spicy. And next we'll add in some paprika. Oh, a tablespoon. Now the breadcrumbs we'll add 1 spoonful. Actually, let's do 2. There we go. And the same amount of flour. So the flour I'm using is all-purpose flour, and that just has more protein, can make more gluten, and that'll help keep everything together in the polpete. All right, there's a whole mess over here, but it's fine. We're just gonna ignore it, and now we will add salt. I don't know why I'm using this grater now. I always have it, and I bought it specifically for the channel, and then I proceeded to not really use it, because using the big tub I have is so much easier. But okay, now we mix. Mix this until it comes together into a dough. If it's ever getting too wet and you need to maybe add more flour, do so. This is quite wet. I'm not even going to use the spoon. We're just gonna... I don't want to say it's impossible to add too much flour, but it might be near impossible to add too much flour. It's very, very wet. I want more cheese. If you think this is too much cheese, you are wrong, and you should listen to the wise words of my sister that cheese is always a good idea. Plus the cheese will start to kind of mix things together. I swear there's more water coming out. This is why she says do this fast. Okay. I will add a bit more flour, and then this should be enough. And then we'll get on to forming them. But just make sure all the flour is incorporated. It's wet, it's fine. We said it would be. Here we have a baking tray lined with baking paper, and I'm just going to take some oil. I don't know how much I put in, just around my hands, and we'll take, oh, this is so wet. I'm surely hoping I didn't do anything wrong. Okay. All right. You know, we're gonna try this. Okay, so there's 2 there. I want to try something different, and I'm going to put a lot more flour into this. A lot more flour. The other thing about this too is that there wasn't a specific recipe that was given to me. It was just, this is what you do, and this is how I'm taking it. So I added more flour because I need this to be thicker. And the reason I'm leaving those there is I just want to see, does this make a difference? So this is more of a, let's say, experimental episode. Lots of flour. Really good thing Kaylin's not here. This would kill her. Kaylin is gluten-free, if that wasn't obvious. The pasta fagioli episode, we did gluten-free pasta, and so many of my friends were asking, when did I become gluten-free? But I'm not the gluten-free one. Okay, this looks a bit better. Woo! This looks a lot more like the dumplings I make. Okay, fast. Just get this off my hands so I can form them. It looks thicker. All right, let's do it again with the oil. And so, yeah, it feels so much thicker. We're just gonna form patties. Oh, these hold their shape so much better than the other ones, which, yeah. So, I'm already deciding this more flour thing was the way to go. I don't know how much flour I put in here, if you're gonna ask. I don't know. Please don't ask, because I have no idea. I just did, I put flour in until it looked good. Okay, this is the last one. Because it really made like a dough. Now I'm curious too how these are gonna taste. Are they gonna taste really bready, really doughy? Sure hope not. I don't have a really small one. I'll just add this to this one. Okay. This is now gonna go to the oven for 25 minutes or until they're golden brown. And once they are golden brown and crispy, remove from the oven. Immediately remove from the paper onto a paper towel that can soak up any extra grease. I let these sit for about 5 minutes, and here we have the polpete o tikvice. So we learned a lot. The first thing is we need a lot of flour because these ones actually look nice. And the other ones were the first two that I made without the extra flour look sad and depressing. Anyway, here we have our first polpete. These are definitely bigger than the ones that Aunt Sandra made when she made them. So you could make these a little bit smaller, maybe even a bit more flour too, because these did start to spread out in the oven. Just things to do, but I'm sure they're still gonna taste as good as they did before. Okay. They're not like super crispy on the outside, but they're not like soggy. And the inside doesn't taste soggy either. It tastes kind of just nice and moist. And it should be cooked all the way through, right? Stuck the thermometer in there. It was like 200 Fahrenheit. Of course, it's amazing to begin with because it's very, very zucchini flavored. But then you get like that bits of pancetta. Honestly, you could have put more in there. Maybe like even 100 grams of pancetta. You had a little bit more in each bite. This is amazing. It's basically like almost exactly as I remember it. You could probably cook them like a little bit longer too if you wanted to make them a little drier on the inside, not as moist, but I'm happy with the way these turned out. If you liked what you saw, please hit like and subscribe. And to all my American fans, happy Independence Day, and of course, dobar tek. One, two, three, four. We're not doing anything illegal. Wow, that really makes it seem like I'm culpable.